What is one thing that all people crave? Most of us don't give out enough. And if we are denied it, we might obsess about it for years and years. You know what that thing is? Gratitude. Hi, Alex McFarland here. Thanks for watching the TNG webcast. Big show in a short time today. I want to talk about gratitude. We're going to give away a book to a viewer that has shared a link to the program, and we've got a couple of questions and some current events items as well. But I thank you for watching. And we talk about worldview and biblical truth, and today I want to talk about gratitude. Do you know the Bible has a lot to say about gratitude? And healthy people emotionally, generally happy people, are the people that have a heart of gratitude. Now, let me just talk a little bit about this. As a pastor, as an author, interacting with thousands of people, interviewing one-on-one hundreds of people, I've met people that often the very trajectory of their life and their demeanor is negatively impacted sometimes for lack of gratitude. So let me give you a few thoughts here. For one thing, gratitude begins in the heart. It really is about the perspectives of your heart. I was in Peru for several weeks doing a lot of lecturing, and I was with people that were living in abject poverty, but were pretty happy people. And one of the Peruvian pastors asked me, he said, "What is the state of the church in America?" And I was talking, and I remarked that sometimes churches split or argue over what color carpet to buy. All these Peruvian pastors that worship in churches built out of shipping pallets, they said, "You all have carpet?" And the idea of having carpet would have been so mind-boggling to them. They were grateful just to have a shack with a tarp over it to worship God. Gratitude begins in the heart. Gratitude grows in the mind, and if we're grateful, it's manifested in our behavior. Now think about this. Think about perspective. The story is told after World War II. Some parishioners were coming out of a church one day, and a couple said, Pastor, we want to donate $200 to the building fund. Our son died in the war, and we want to give this $200 in honor of our deceased son. The couple right behind them said, "Pastor, we were going to give $200 to the building fund, but our son came home from the war, and we want to give $500. And my point is, folks, if you think about it, there's a lot to be grateful for. Oh my goodness, if you're watching this webcast, you've got a computer. Chances are a roof over your head. You've got eyes and vision, a mind to think and reflect and process. It begins in the heart. It grows in the mind. Gratitude is manifested in our behavior, and gratitude reflects the state of the soul. It really does. I think about Psalm 29, verse 12, that says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, magnify his name." There's so much for which to be grateful. And I'm going to come back to that. But right now, I want to go over a couple of questions. First of all, though, I want to give something away. I want to give something away to Sheila Iswaria. Sheila, thanks for watching the Truth for a New Generation webcast. Here's a copy of my book, Stand Strong in College, What You'll Hear Your Freshman Year. I signed it with great thanks for you watching the TNG webcast. It's coming your way, Sheila Iswaria. Thank you so much. And for everybody who shares, you are entered in the contest to win a copy of my book, Stand Strong in College, that you could give to a young person in your life. A couple of questions and a news item. Here is Todd in Utah. Do miracles still happen today? I believe yes, absolutely. Let me address one of the major objections to miracles. There was a Scottish philosopher named David Hume. He said the laws of nature are the most unbreakable laws, and miracles are impossible, like Moses parting the Red Sea or Mary, a virgin birth, because they would violate, said Hume, the laws of nature. Well, here's the deal. The laws of nature are descriptive of what usually happens, not prescriptive of what must happen. Hey, who's big enough to break the laws of nature, or at least to override? The one who made nature and all the laws that govern the physical world, God. So miracles are possible. If God exists, then obviously he's powerful enough to reach in the world and do things. If you can believe Genesis 1:1, In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If you can believe that verse, you can believe any miracle in the Bible. And so, yes, miracles are possible. A journalist asked me one time, do you believe in miracles? I said, I believe in them. I depend on them. So God can answer prayer. God can do miracles. Here's Anna in Greenville, South Carolina. Anna, thanks for watching. What is intelligent design, and does it support the existence of God? Intelligent design or design theory is the idea that whenever you see a design, that implies a designer. With regard to supporting the existence of a creator, intelligent design looks at something like the complexity of DNA. Now think about this. Your body, your DNA, the recipe, the blueprint for you, the schematic for you, there are 37 trillion copies of your DNA in your body right now. Isn't that amazing? And it's always being replicated. Cells are being replicated, and your DNA is constantly being copied and recopied. Now, if I see you in 7 years, you'll still be you, because the DNA is complex, encoded, encrypted information. And here's how this supports the existence of God. I mean, all of those A's, T's, C's, and G's, your genome, we have never seen information arise from a non-intelligent source. Now, it doesn't say what kind of God or who God is, but yes, I believe the design and the specificity that is replete not only in the life of every human, but all plant life, all animal life. Design implies a designer. So yes, I believe ID, intelligent design, points to the existence of God. And you know what? I know on this webcast we talk about some deep things, truth, God. Listen, it is very important that you make the decision to become a lifelong learner. And I'll give you an example of why, because the news media right now, there's so much spin. And look, I'm a news junkie, maybe many of you are, but there was a story that came out late last night about an elderly man in a Michigan nursing home, and there was a video of him being mercilessly beaten. And I want to be very clear, it was not an employee. It was another patient that was temporarily in this care home. But the victim was an elderly, appeared to be a Caucasian man. The one doing the beating was an African-American young man. And he has been apprehended, he's been arrested, and he has issues, and we need to pray for the victim and the assailant. I get that. But it was interesting to me, my point being this. In an era when so much is made of hate crimes, and hate crime legislation is always in discussion around our country and in the Western world. But most of the news links, if you clicked on, there was an image of an elderly black man in a wheelchair and what appeared to be either a Caucasian or Asian person. And if you didn't know the backstory, you might be tempted to think that the victim of the beating was an African-American patient, whereas the victim in reality was a Caucasian elderly man. That's why, look, that's just one example of the spin on the news. And very often, victims are celebrated and elevated if they are the right ethnicity or the right worldview. And my point being, the news is not as objective as it could be or really should be. You've got to be on your toes and think and watch. And isn't it grateful that in spite of the noise around us, truth is still knowable? Speaking of gratitude, listen to this. There was a man named Thomas Obadiah Chisholm. He wanted to be a minister. He lived in the 19th century. And you know what? He had all these reversals, financial reversals, physical health issues. He didn't get to be in the ministry but about a year. And so he went up to the Northeast and was an insurance agent. But he read a lot of poetry. One day he's reading Lamentations 3, 22 and 23. And his dreams didn't come true. He lived a life of discouragement and illnesses. But you know what? He was a poet in his spare time. And he read Lamentations 3 that says, God's mercies are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. And he wrote a song that's almost as beloved as Amazing Grace. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. And it says, morning and evening thy mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. And here was a man, Thomas Chisholm, He was grateful. And 100 years after the fact, we still sing his song. Hey, cultivate gratitude. Today, think about at least 8 or 10 things for which you're grateful. We're going to be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week. Please share this, revalexmcfarland.com. You're entered to win the contest. And let's talk, let's think, let's grow together, and let's be grateful. And I want to say, I'm so grateful for this crew. You don't know this, but this little webcast takes a half dozen people to make this happen. They are phenomenal. They're so faithful, and I'm grateful for you watching. I'm grateful for them producing. They're amazing. Hey, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.